All right. Good morning, everybody. I am NEACE. It is time for some League of Legends shit. Yes, it is time yet again. Yes, this is not like other streams. We're playing on a real server with real humans. Well, kind of. It's like skillful humans that are like mentally unstable, but like it's still way better than NA. It's way better than US. It's way better than fucking OS. It's the #1 place to get better League. You can kind of see champions played at their mechanical limits. And then also, yeah, we're going to do some news this morning. I have some news. Sort of. I believe the new patch that's coming, they dropped the numbers. I'm going to pull that up and talk about that for a minute. That's a very significant, in my opinion. That's a very significant, in my opinion, list of changes. So let's go over these because these are going to be the changes that come on the next patch. I don't want to waste any time this morning. This is probably going to cover the morning announcements, so to speak. And then I think I'm going to VOD review something. I'm going to look around and try to find something interesting to VOD review. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to find something on Korea server to look at. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we are going to talk about these changes right here. The 12.23 patch preview. Why am I going over this specifically? Well, I will tell you, little pilgrims, because this is a very significant patch. The jungle is going to be balanced a little differently. A lot of things are going to get nerfed, and you're going to start to see the season kind of like settle into what the fuck it's supposed to be. And I'm going to talk about why that is. All right. Because right now the season has been kind of like a little wonky. There's been like these obvious outliers like Ravenous and things, and that's going to get nerfed here. And then there's some other stuff that's coming through that I think is interesting. So we're going to talk about that. The first thing that I want to say, and make sure hit the like button, the share button, click your buttons. First thing I want to say, getting started, is Zeri's getting changed again in just ridiculously just an over almost like an exhausting fashion. There's move speed changes, base AD increase, base armor increase, HP increase, attack speed ratio increase, HP per level increase. She's getting a nerf on her passive. She's just getting flat move speed. The duration is now down. The Q burst fire adjustments, fully charged AP ratios increase. The range is reduced on the Q. The excess attack speed over 1.5 to AD ratio is increased. Damage is increased. The W is now changed to physical. The damage is increased. The cast time has been changed to 2.5 times the attack time. So basically it's on attack speed. Missile speed is increased. The beam cast time is increased. The E adjustments, the E mana, the cooldown. Are you seeing how ridiculous this is? So basically Riot is really struggling with what to do with this new champion. They released this champion. The champion's popular. Everybody wants to play her. It gets nerfed because of competitive. And it's unbalanceable because of competitive. And Riot has backed themselves into a corner yet again. And now they're just doing the Rise thing, where they just keep fucking changing the shit out of it. So if you're a Zeri fan, you know, leave some comments on that one. Let me know what you think. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm not gonna talk more about this because you just won't know until it goes live. Don't fucking sleep on this one. This one's a massive change. They're trying to make Zeri more applicable to all tiers of play instead of some like competitively overtuned bullshit. Scion, this is a very significant buff to the Scion fans out there. The base mana has increased 70. The mana per level has increased 10. The Q damage has increased. That little cheese from the bush that Scion does, he's going to do it a little bit more often. It's going to hurt a little bit more. That is basically the summary of Scion. Now, obviously, for laning, Scion usually has to rely on Corrupting Pod. He doesn't have to do that as often now because he got base mana increase. Okay, got it? Good. Cho'Gath, Carnivore mana restore increase. The increase on the W is up. The feast cooldown is now it gets lower as the game goes on. Significant stuff for Cho'Gath players. Cho'Gath is a very interesting champion because it feels to me like he is always one more buff from just being very, very tough to beat. His Q is on a very low cooldown. His W is nice. His R, he's got a good cheesy build with AP that he can go and one-shot people with. It's a very interesting champion. Also, I would argue pretty high skill. Amumu. The HP increased. The Q, the mana toss is increased, or the mana cost is increased on his Q, bandage toss, as W damage is increased and his E base damage is increased. Now, why does this matter? Why does this matter? Well, basically, this is more targeting jungle Amumu, but support Amumu is already doing fine. Maokai, the passive heal AP ratios increase. Actually, the Maokai one's interesting, and I'm just curious. How's Maokai looking in terms of like data? Let's take a peek, because he was strong at the end of last season, and then he just, I don't know, he fell off a little bit. Let's see him in like a... So he's already performing quite well as a support. What about a jungle? Jungle, he's performing well even. And he's getting a buff. So Maokai actually may be worth a look. Maokai may be worth another look. Because there's this jungle path. Oh, I think play him later. I think I might play him on stream actually. Intriguing. The AP Maokai build. It's actually popping off. Well, this isn't even what this is targeting, though, because this is targeting lane sustain. Base monster damage is going to go up. So, yeah, he's not even that bad right now. I'm about to bust him out. I thought he was weak. Performing quite well. Is he performing quite well everywhere? No, it could just be a small sample type of thing. But I do find a huge kick out of this. NA can't play shit. It looks like Koreans have landed on a funny build with Phase Rush and AP. I'm gonna give that a go. But anyways, he's getting a buff as well. So good time to look at Maokai. I would argue this is a very good time to look at Maokai. A lot of the early game champions are going to be nerfed as well. And Maokai's clear, his early clear will be buffed. His AO clear will be buffed a little bit. Because his monster damage is going to be increased quite a bit. Wow, actually. Yeah, that's actually massive. His Q damage on his first clear. So, I'm definitely going to be taking a peek at Maokai. I think Riot dropped the ball on this one. I think FaZe Maokai is coming back. I used to beat up some Chinese players with this. I think I'll give this a look. Probably today. Dude, Zach has been kicking my ass as Tryndamere mid. And I think I was reviewing my VODs on this. And I think what's getting me is... I'm not trying to push into it ever, but like, dude, I honestly think it's just a legit pick into Tryndamere mid specifically. Long lane top, I think it would be worse. But in mid, people have been picking this as like a counter to me, and it's really strong. I've died to it a couple times. I've been stumped on this one. He's getting a buff. So his HP ratio is going up. You also have to remember that Sunfire is getting a buff at the bottom of this. So a lot of the tanks are getting double buffs here. Zach is one of them. HP ratios increase. So yeah, he's gonna be pretty strong. Zach, I would not sleep on Zach. This guy is used a lot in Korea. I've been weirded out by this. He shows up in top, he shows up in mid, he shows up in jungle, he shows up in support, and he does well every fucking time. Like at higher levels of play, this champion is fucking underrated, man. This champion is hard as fuck to beat. I'm telling you, I have been bamboozled by this guy multiple different ways. Tom Kench, an acquired Taze, now has additional 2% AP per basic. Okay, on hit Tom Kench. Tongue Lash buffs, AP ratios increased to 100%. Heal HP ratios increased to 5. Wow, that's a big heal ratio. His AP ratios increased. Thick Skin is now increased. Devour Shield. So this guy's going to show up again in laning, I guess, and show up in, I mean, he just looks strong in general, especially with all these tank buffs coming through. Malphite buff, the on-hit armor ratio, on-hit damage armor ratio increase, cone damage increase, ground slam increase. Expect some Malphites to show up. Kane, Shadow Assassin, getting a buff. This is actually needed. Blue Kane's useless. you know, I would actually, I don't mind this yet, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it, but I do think it's a little weak for sure. Yumi, the cooldown is increased and the root duration is decreased. So this is welcomed. I hope they just keep nerfing her because I don't even want her in the game. She should get the rise treatment. Syndra, adjusted, is getting nerfs. Good to hear. Her E should be nerfed because it's too low of a cooldown for how safe she is already. She gets slows when she's kiting you too. This will be welcomed. I know I was trying to dive this champion over and over again yesterday. It was hard, even though I was like monstrously ahead. It was like really difficult in my opinion. Mordekaiser, the nerf. This nerf is actually not that big a deal. The jungle Mordekaiser, it looks bigger than it is. Okay, it looks bigger than it is. This nerf is only more towards neutral objectives. This clear should be the same, I think. It's how it looks to me. Shyvana, on hit HP ratio is reduced. Shyvana I haven't been seeing much of. This must be like more of the lower bracket. I haven't seen her show up much at all. Trundle attack speed reduced. Trundle has been dominant in a lot of elos too. Lilia, getting a nice little buff. Yeah, that one annoys me. I don't think Lily is that weak, but whatever. Kassadin is getting some adjustments. Shield granted on spell cast instead of when the missile leaves his hand. If I'm reading that correctly, that means it comes out slightly sooner. Shield adjusted is going up a little bit. The base is going up a little bit. Considering you don't have much AP in your build until later, this totally tracks. This is going to make Kassadin a little bit more of a comp pick. Into mages, so look to pick Kassadin in teams that have a lot of AP, and you're gonna be happy you did. Is E force pulse adjustments no longer locked down, requiring nearby enemy casts. Nearby spell cast reduced cooldown by 1 second. Cooldown increased 5. I actually don't know what this all means. This one is stumping me right now. Sorry guys. I play Kassadin too. No longer not locked out and requiring nearby spellcasts. Nearby spellcasts reduced by 1. Oh, I see what they're doing. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, got it. It's so before you would have to get spellcasts up in order to use E. Now you're just gonna have E. That is interesting. I'm very intrigued by this. That's gonna make casting a little bit different. Definitely worth looking at all AP teams. You still have no prio even versus AP matchups though, unless you're playing into them aggressively. You're not gonna have any prio, so it's casted and you've been warned. Mundo, AD per level is down, base MR down, MR increased up, passive. His current HP loss is reduced. His heal is reduced, but it's more stable. You don't lose quite as much HP. Max HP regeneration is adjusted. His Bonesaw now costs 60. His W HP costs 8% current HP. Gray health heal without hitting any minions. Any enemies is increased to 50% duration, reduced to 3 seconds. Damage toward his gray health adjusted. And then his E. His E is now max HP, no longer instantly kills small jungle monsters. Monster damage increased. His R no longer provides base AD, increased HP missing ratio increased. Holy shit. Okay. At rank 3, both the increased HP regen increased by an additional 5%. This one is, you cannot know until I play this one as well. I can know what Kassadin's going to look like, but I can't really know what Mundo's going to look like. Mundo has been, even with this God clear that I showcased that has come out, he's still fucking whack. I don't feel very good about playing Mundo, and maybe it's worth looking at him once he gets the rework and give him a try. He never felt that great to me though. System buffs. Sunfire is getting a cooldown, or is getting a gold buff. Price is, it's a cheaper price, and the health increase to 500. The Ravenous is getting nerfed. You know, I want to take a look at what Ravenous all provides right now, just so you guys can understand the severity of this nerf. I think it's pretty severe, to be completely honest. You're getting ability haste, you're getting attack damage, you're getting no omnivamp. Okay, you're getting it provides no longer provides omnivamp per stack. So you still have some, it looks like. Yeah, you still get some Omnivamp, but you don't have it per stack, if I'm reading this correctly. I think it's a significant nerf. You're gonna see the cleave AD ratio reduced to 10. It's 10% down. Do I think this just ruins Ravenous Hydra, though, actually, upon investigating this? I don't know. 10% off the AD ratio is significant. I think it's still going to be used on just about everyone that was using it before. Maybe some of the outlier cases, the range cases, might start dropping it now. I think it's going to be more of a you're trying to wave clear option than a just like a rush in every situation. So it's a significant nerf though, for sure. I thought there was going to be a gold nerf though with it, so maybe not as significant as I thought, but still significant. And then now we get into the jungle adjustments, which for those who are wondering, the reason that the jungle is getting adjusted again is because early clears are really strong. 3-camp ganks are really strong, as I've seen in my games. What's happening here is that as you get your first clear and you start getting into those later clears, your XP is lower than it should be. So what's happening is that early game junglers have a lot of impact, whereas like your power clear junglers don't really have much of any impact. So if you wanted to power farm, or if you just want to farm, you just don't get that much XP. You feel very incentivized to fight right now, and this will it'll kind of balance the scales a little bit and put it more into the center. So what you should look at is mainly your clear speed will be will basically take a little longer early, and as the game goes on, you're going to have a more stable clear, as well as you're going to get a little bit more XP. So expect junglers to show up a little bit later, but still, you're still incentivized to gank early, just because the golems camp is splits faster and you can delete it faster. But you're going to see more junglers that are like patient passive junglers get some value out of those picks, or just playing slower, playing a different style. You should be rewarded more often. And that is it. I have covered everything. I have covered everything. Do you guys like these patch notes? You should, because I think they're all right. To be completely honest, I don't think it's that bad. I think all of it makes sense. Let's go ahead and get into the game.